I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's a filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Apparently, BC doesn't like the Smiths.
Oh.
Are they on the docket today?
You're gonna have to just peace out after.
You're gonna have to deal. Look at this. You could tell. Here we go. All right. Is this is DJ Negative Vibes?
Negative Vibes stream. Thank you very much.
Negative Vibes is Negative Vibes stream.
Yep.
This is gonna be really interesting.
This is gonna be a rough one, I heard.
Is this his first one?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember Negative doing any streams before. Negative, let us know. Okay.
Maybe it was just individual songs before. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have just been individual songs. Okay, guys. Here we go. This is a Negative Vibes stream. Dear listener, if you would like to be a DJ, VinandSori@gmail.com. You buy 4 songs, and 4-song minimum makes you a DJ. There is no maximum. There really is no maximum. We demonstrated that there's no maximum. We did that last week where we did an entire week's worth, dear listener, for one of our big homies. So there is no maximum. Okay. Oh, that's right. Negative Vibes did do the hip hop night. Okay, song number 1.
We've got the Sad Bummer stream, or Negative Vibes, Negative Vibes. Sometimes it's good to dwell in sad, frightening, and dark places for a while. It helps us to focus and explore a lot of the feelings that we can release them, so that we can release them. The same way Aristotle and the playwrights of the Greek tragedies did. That said, this stream is going to focus on some of the bleakest topics I'm familiar with. So if things like suicide and mental institutionalization are too much, it might be good to skip this one and come back on a stronger day. To that end, I submit this stream to you and to the village so that we can all let some of the hurt out, allow ourselves a good cry, and then let it go. All right, first on the list is the Mountain Goats, No Children. Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, the Mountain Goats. No Children. The Mountain Goats, No Children. This is for the big homie Negative Vibes. And hopefully everybody's has come prepared.
Negative Vibes. Them up on Trello.
They're on Trello?
So
Okay.
if you can't find them there and you want to go there, I see them.
Perfectamundo. Okay, guys, here we go. Negative Vibes, song number 1, the Mountain Goats, No Children. Let's do it.
I hope that our few remaining friends give up on trying to
save us. I hope we come up with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. I hope the fences we mended fall down beneath their own weight, and I hope we hang on past the last exit. I hope it's already too late.
Oh my gosh.
And I hope the junkyard a few blocks from here someday burns down. And I hope the rising black smoke carries me far away, and I never come back to this town again. In my life, I hope I lie and tell everyone you were a good wife, and I hope you die.
Oh.
I hope we both die.
Holy shit. Say, I hope you die.
I hope I cut myself shaving tomorrow. I hope it bleeds all day long. Our friends say it's darkest before the sun rises. We're pretty sure they're all wrong. I hope it stays dark forever. I hope the worst isn't over. And I hope you blink before I do. I hope I never get sober. And I hope when you think of me years down the line, you can't find one good thing to say. And I'd hope that if I found the strength to walk out, you'd stay the hell out of my way. I am drowning. There is no sign of land. You are coming down with me, hand in unlovable hand, and I hope you die. I hope we both die.
Tell us how you really feel, homie. I feel like Negative is trying to ease us into the depression.
Yeah, probably.
This was one of those like it was kind of lighthearted. I mean, he was saying horrible shit, but
Yeah, but
they, they were, hey.
I liked it
I
because
hope you die.
I mean, I think that
I hope we both die.
at one point or another, everybody kind of hits a point where they kind of feel like this, and then they think these kind of hopeless things.
That they hope their spouse dies.
Well, no, that was,
I hope you die.
I hope we both die.
I hope we both die. And the name of the song is No Children.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't mention children at all.
Yeah,
that's the point.
That could go both ways.
That's the point. Like he wants their relationship to end before they have kids because he doesn't want to torment them with the horrible life that they would give those kids because
Well.
So they both die before they could screw up their kids, I guess, is the idea. I think that's what he's going for.
Okay, what line do you think is the funniest?
I hope you die. I hope we both die. Is the line for me. That's the line.
I thought.
I hope you die.
When he says, okay, I hope we come up with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. That's so sad. The dumb few that forgave us.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like speaking into the future, like if they did something to themselves. Because when you lose close people to a self-inflicted whatever, part of the issue that you have to work through as a survivor is forgiving the person for leaving you. So I don't know if he's like projecting that out into the future, like I hope we come with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. Like if he's projecting it into the future.
I don't think so, because he says, I hope that our few remaining friends give up on trying to save us. And I hope we come up with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. In other words, I hope we can figure out a way to get them to piss them off so they won't forgive us anymore. Oh. I think that's what it is. A fail-safe plot. A fail-safe plot to piss them off successfully so they won't forgive them anymore is what I think he's saying.
Yeah, but I think in the first two lines when it says "save us," I think it's like There was a couple. I don't think I've told you this story, but there was like a motivational speaking couple. They were both motivational speakers.
Yeah.
And they both unalived themselves like together at the same time.
Did they give a?
It was like one of those.
A reason?
It was one of those weird, like, we're making this decision type of weird. They shot some crazy. I never showed it to you because it was just sick. But I thought about that couple a lot because I was thinking to myself, if you're the type of person or you're the type of people that people take that inspiration from, especially if you're an internet personality, and then you go and do something like that to yourself, I was thinking to myself, like, they probably took a good 10, 15 people with them.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that's what they were known for. It wasn't so much internet as much as it was radio, I think. But, I mean, they were up there doing the motivational thing. There were a couple, and, you know, people calling the show, oh, thanks, you helped me, blah, blah, blah. And then they go off and do some shit like that to themselves. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, on the one hand, it's like, I understand, like, that's your personal, that's a personal decision that you made. Although I'm against assisted suicide pretty much in all of its forms, but it's like, do you feel any response? Like, I certainly feel a responsibility. Like, I don't want to overestimate our value, but I do. That would definitely, like, the effect on our friends and the people that listen to us, like, that would definitely be a factor for me. And it factors in a lot of shit that I do, actually, or wouldn't do.
Me too.
Because, I mean, some of these folks have obviously crossed over to being, you know, really close friends and, you know, like, real, you know, close friends or whatever. I'm not, and it's oddly enough, like, I'm not even talking about those people specifically. I'm just talking about, like, just in general.
Yeah.
So I just remember reading that article over and over again about that couple, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how could you do that to all those people that you were inspiring? Like, it's one thing, like, if you, and the other thing too is, like, they were like a motivational speaking couple. Mm-hmm. So it's like, dude, like, that, you couldn't tell these people that you guys had this plan or plot or thought process to go and do this horrible thing. Like, you completely blindsided all these people. And, like, yeah, I just, you know, Alden said it's irresponsible. Like, I just think that's, it's pretty insane.
When Alden said, he tried Prozac or something? I'm assuming that's something that, like, a mood stabilizer or something
Prozac.
like that. Yeah. It reminded me of when,
Chappelle. You tried weed, nigga? Kill everybody, nigga?
He's talking about, like, he's talking about school shootings, which is obviously a very serious topic. But he's basically, you know, a message of, wow, have you tried weed? Did you try
weed, nigga?
Like, in other words, why is your solution to kill everybody? Like, try some other things. Be a little, you know.
Yeah, but it was a pretty terrible situation. But, you know, so, like, I'm saying that, and I really, you know.
Oh my God, Alden,
I mean, they didn't reach.
I was wondering.
They didn't have, like, reach of, like, millions and millions of people, but it was a pretty.
They had enough reach.
They had enough reach, and, you know, anyway.
Okay.
I hope. Go ahead.
I don't know why he says, I hope the junkyard a few blocks away from here someday burns down.
I know. I love shit like that.
You could see if he was like, I hope that, you know, like, somebody that's doing really good, like, that would make sense. But the junkyard,
what did the junkyard do to you, my G?
Even the junkyard has to burn down.
The junkyard dog? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh,
okay.
That was my other line that I liked. You're coming down with me hand in unlovable hand. We're watching this show. I'm not going to name the show because there's always people who are going to spoil it. And this is one of those shows where...
Oh, yeah.
Like, a spoiler would really ruin it. But, like... And I still think they made a mistake on that decision that they made. I really do.
Oh, really?
I'm talking about the writers of the show.
Yeah, I know.
I felt like that was a mistake, but it's definitely not something that I could project coming from a mile away. But anyway, the point is, like, it is interesting watching bad couples. Like, a bad couple, to me, like, I was in a bad couple. Well, okay, here's a bad couple relationship. It's like where they both kind of don't like each other, but they've spent so many years like doing the fake suburban shit that they're right at that line, but nobody's doing anything like completely psychotic, but there's like slowly nobody else around them, and so like they only exist in their own world. Like if you look at this couple, it's just them. There's nothing else. There's no friends. There's no, everybody else in their life is just kind of there as like a prop, but it's really about them too. And they don't love each other. I mean, you know, they'll find each other, I'm sure, at some point, but like they don't love each other, but they're like, it gets to the point where you get two bitter people that are so resentful that the rest of the world has nothing to do with them. So they only have each other, but they're together, but they really don't love each other. It's just that there's nobody else there.
Have you met people like that?
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, one of them ended up getting. I mean, they didn't last very well, but they were just massively. It was just a massively toxic.
Did one of them
situation.
go on to be like popular and the other one didn't? Like, was it kind of obvious?
No, I'm not talking about mine because it wasn't. We didn't have that kind of relationship because I genuinely. I mean, I loved her, but you know.
I didn't think we were talking about you. I thought we were talking about somebody else, people that you knew. But so they both went their separate ways and life was just as mediocre? Or did one of them...
I don't know. I mean, I didn't
Oh, you don't know them that well.
I mean, they were horrible people to be around, so I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be around them. They're coexisting, but but they just genuinely don't like each other. And like this song, you know who this made me think about?
Nope.
You know who'd say some shit like this? Ben Webb. Ben would want the thing to burn down.
No,
He'd say hand in unlovable hand.
Okay, I'll tell you, I really disagree with you. I
hope you die. I hope you both die. You don't think Ben would write a song like this?
No, I think that Ben is one of those people that when he gets in a relationship, he's sappy. And I don't think he says something like this. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I just think that...
I hope it stays dark forever. I hope the worst isn't over.
When I was working with the elderly people, there were some old men that were just complete grouches, but then they would get sweet when their girl was there, and that to me was unbelievable. Like, not their, like, she's just as old as he is, but he wants to be a nicer person when she's around. I just thought that was wild, and to me, Ben Webb is that character. I don't know. Maybe everything that he says, maybe he would, but I just think that if he gets in a relationship, he's like your friend in high school.
Well, this line is interesting where he says, I hope it stays dark forever. I hope the worst isn't over. That's one of my big life philosophies, actually, is that if something is really bad, I'll say, well, the worst part of that is over. And like that, I've used that so many times in so many different ways, and it's helped me in a lot of things. So
that's so funny.
But
I always say, okay, you're right in the thick of it right now, but you're gonna get past this.
He says, I hope it stays dark forever, and I hope the worst isn't over. Hail Brazil, I agree. Gang, gang, gang. Shout out to Brazil. Yeah, I think that's a very instructive line because, like...
Instructive?
Yeah, that's a very instructive line.
Why?
The reason is because it explains... It gets into the interior of why people make those final decisions.
Oh.
And so when he says, it's a clever way of doing it too, because when he says, I hope the worst isn't over. You know, it's like hope deferred makes the heart sick. If you hope in something and then you have that disappointment, it's even worse. Mm-hmm. And so he has just concluded he's given up on any sort of positivity in life. So now there's three ways you can look at it. You can hope for something and be disappointed. You can be neutral and have no expectation, in which case you won't be disappointed. Or you can hope for something bad to happen. And if you believe that you're cursed, there's a little psychological trick to where it's like, oh, look, this came true because I hoped for this bad thing to happen. It's just a way of managing tragedy, which people who have had a series of horrible events happen to them that are outside of their control. I'm not talking about like I lost my wife and kids in my house to a gambling problem.
Right.
Like you went to the casino and gambled, bro. Like that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is like you get a horrible phone call and you know your dog got hit by a car. Like shit you can't control. So when people are confronted with things that they can't control, they'll create psychological games to give themselves the illusion of control. So if you say, I hope the worst isn't over, so when the bad thing happens that's worse, you can say, excellent, I hope for this, and thereby you can kind of get on top of it and control it, and you feel less fear because you're empowered to handle the situation. It doesn't work. It's a psychological trick, and most of the time it ends up having negative ramifications. But when you hear people talking like that, they're in a lot of trouble, especially if they're doing it seriously, which even though this song was kind of tongue-in-cheek, it was still kind of like if you got somebody that's jamming this song like 24/7, then they're asking for help. Like I was watching something yesterday. Oh yeah, I've got this friend. She keeps having these miscarriages. She's on like number 3, and she's got a tattoo when she goes to the gravesite and all this. And she said, "How comes every time a celebrity says they had a miscarriage, people always say they're asking for attention?" And everybody was like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's true, yeah." And I was like, "Well, they are asking for attention. Like, what's wrong with asking for attention? Like, if you're in trouble, you should ask for attention. So if a girl's got a miscarriage, what is the fact
Why
that
would
she's...
somebody say that? I don't even understand
it
that.
It happens all the time.
What do you mean they're
It
asking
happens
for
all the-
attention?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Like, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, you're just asking for attention, yada, yada, yada. They think,
Wow, that is cold.
they think that just because they're rich, money solves all the problems. You know what I mean? So, like...
That's awful.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation. The only reason I don't think that these guys are out to kill themselves per se is because he said, I hope you blink before I do. So in that line, like, it was like kind of toward right there. I hope it stays dark forever. I hope the work is... I hope you bleed before I do. And I hope I never get so... You blink before I do, which I'm assuming that would be her doing something to herself before he does something to himself.
That's interesting.
Or her doing something to him. I don't know. Go ahead.
I took it as... Because they're both continuing on in this miserable existence, and they're miserable with each other, and he hopes she blinks before he does and leaves. Because he basically says, look, I hope that when I leave, you let me do so. And he's hoping that she's gonna blink first and leave, so then he doesn't have to do that. That's how I took it.
Oh, leave?
Yeah, because he said, where did he say? I hope that if I ever found the strength to walk out, you'd stay the hell out of my way.
Yeah.
But then, when he says, I hope that you blink before I do, I took that as, I hope you blink and walk before I do.
Yep. Which in that case, I'm like, man, just break up with her, bro. But at the same time, like, it's not that easy. Like, especially when you're married. Like, I would have never initiated that divorce with her. I would have never done that. I would have never initiated it. So, I will say, when I finally had the paper in my hand from the divorce decree, because it got mailed to me because she's in another state. I remember opening the mailbox, and I stayed at. It's funny because that guy knows me, the mailbox guy, so he drink, and he could kind of tell. I just stood there and opened it like right at the mailbox place. He kind of looked for me for a second because it had my name, but it had her name, and he knew that she used to, like the guy knows us, the mailbox guy. It's kind of weird. I don't know. He also calls me. He also calls me by one of my other names.
Yeah.
Like, not even name. You know when people think they know my.
Yeah.
Like he was calling me the other name. So, like, I don't know how he got that, but anyway, he was kind of looking at me.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Well, okay," and then off he went. I don't know, but it was a weird feeling. But I remember I was like, okay, like this shit is really done, bro. Like it's over. I said mailbox, and I was like, I had my little moment or whatever, and I got in the car, and as soon as I got in the car, this wave of relief washed over me. I was like, All right, it's done. 15 years. All right, it's done. You know what I'm saying? I would have never initiated it, but once it was done, it was done. I had my little moment. It was good, and that sense of relief has never left me. And like, I don't talk about it a lot because I feel terrible saying that, but I mean, anybody that knows the situation knows the situation. But yeah, I was very relieved. I was very relieved.
I think for me, I didn't know how, like, I didn't have space to know how I felt because I had to maintain a certain level of hardness because it was very difficult, even though everything that went bad, like everything that happened, and it was still very difficult to go through with that process and to maintain that, like, and not like a breakdown in court and stuff like that. Like, I had to have like a certain hardness about me to get through it. So I don't know what I really felt to this moment. I don't really know what I really felt.
Yeah,
but I can see
mine was a little bit different from yours though, because yours was kind of quick because both of you guys were here. Mine was just dragging out. Is this? You got to call. You got to sign this, email that, blah blah blah, because we're out of state and all that stuff.
Yeah, but there was no fighting. There was no pushback. There was no nothing. Like,
yeah, I mean,
this is what's happening.
I had the kids, and she was done. So, yeah, there was none of that she had. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay. What do you get the song?
I really liked this one. I liked the tongue-in-cheekness of it. I liked that. I agree with you. I don't think that you should live in a song like this, but I do think that there's a time and a place for a song like that. So I'm gonna give it a 9.8 actually, and I like the sound of it too.
I can't give it a 9. Yeah, it's a solid 8.8 for me. I'm actually very thankful that he chose this as the first song. Like, I'm glad it didn't just start out just rah. But at the same time, like, it's still one of those things where I'm like, yo, if I had a friend that was talking like this, I'd be asking some questions. You know what I'm saying? Just because of my experiences and all that. So even though it's like tongue in cheek and it's kind of funny, it's at the same time I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So we have more depressive goodness coming your way. This is what are we calling this? The bump stream? The negative vibe streams brought to you by Negative Vibes. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.
Sad bummer stream or negative vibes.
The
negative
SBS. The sad bummer stream. All right, guys. We're coming right back. Commercial break. You know the deal.